What is going on? Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I am your host, the Nerd Man. All of my speakers, my volume has gone wrong. I was going to do a really funny Ric Flair introduction, but it's Snyder Day, and Snyder Day continues all day. Essentially, welcome. Zack Snyder Day is on, and with a tear in my eye. The Zack Snyder Cut trailer is coming, and I am hyped. Up until then, we're going to keep on looking to see any updates. I'm hoping it's going to drop immediately, and I'll find out as soon as that Snyder trailer drops, and we will watch live together when the Snyder trailer drops and react to that uh, together, essentially. But I'm super excited. I can barely speak. I understand that it's 9 o'clock that this Snyder trailer is dropping. So let me check. We'll see exactly what is going on. So the news says, does it tell you what time it's dropping here? So let's see if into. I know. Let's see. Zack Snyder's Twitter should give us some idea because it will probably be dropped on Zack Snyder's Twitter first. So let's see. So it says, when does it say it doesn't say what time it's dropping. I understood that it was supposed to be 9 o'clock. That was my understanding. Does it say what time? Let's see if we can investigate and find out what is dropping. Because I think it's supposed to drop now. As far as I understand, it's supposed to drop around this time. So less than 20 on just peak. We got Wonder Woman. King tomorrow. Saw the official, but up the cut. Doing is we're gonna have fun and we're gonna be talking about actually DC movies and ranking and discussing the DC movies. So let's go to our DC movies list. All right. We've got some good ones here. We have 4, which is annoying. Yeah, it doesn't have them in 1980. So this I always like my dash because I just like word. Dash. Yeah. So we've got another one. So we're gonna call this which one? So we've got top. I'm gonna sick here. By the way, guys, I'm gonna be looking at my I'm going to be looking. Please give me a high five, like, subscribe, do all of that stuff. We want some comments. But if you comment in the comment section, I'm going to be looking at that. And if the Snyder Cut drops, please tell me. I know there's one person watching. Soon as the Snyder Cut drops, if you see it, tell me. I think it's supposed to drop at 9 o'clock. Do you know? Does anyone know the time that the Snyder Cut is supposed to drop? Because I'm pretty, it's 9 o'clock. And what time is it in America right now? Let's look at time in America. Fucking find this out. All right, here we go. 9:14 a.m. Find out. Hey Siri. What time is it in America, Pacific time? Oh, wow. So we've got like quite a long time. Good. We've got Zack Snyder Day. It's 8:05. Countdown. 8:05 right now. 9:05. 9:14. We've got the Snyder Cut dropping. So till then, we're gonna be doing the best of the DC movies, ranking tier. We've got what should we what should we call this? For Kalel talk. This is gonna be. They can be a good people. Kalel tier. Right. And know how to add like it's got the. How many are there? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 24. 34. It's got 34 movies. Is that all of them? So, we've got to do Wonder Woman 84. We've got. Joker isn't here. What the fuck? Can't you see, man? All right, I'm going to have to. We'll call Kitchen. We're going to call Joker. And we're going to call. So these are alternates. And that we're going to call Swamp Thing Wonder Woman 84, which is actually quite. That's quite a good thing to use for Wonder Woman 84 is Swamp Thing. So we've got Never Watched, we've got Trash. What should we call this? I'll call this last one. So below Trash is unfucking watchable. Let's get into So I'm into it now. All right, we're starting fucking heavy hitter. Batman. Batman Begins to me is fantastic. It's one of Christopher Nolan's best movies. It's very, very comic booky. I cannot believe till today, for the life of me, that that the writer of this movie, David Goyer, wrote this movie. I cannot believe it till this day. I still can't believe it. David Goyer. This is too good for David Goyer. A script. I mean, even something like Blade, which David Goyer wrote, was not, script-wise had like major problems, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. So the only two good David Goyer scripts, as far as I'm concerned, are Batman Begins. Of his scripts have been absolutely god awful. If you've ever seen, he fooled me into watching Ghost Rider twice. They're just awful for these two movies. So yeah, like basically, I can't believe David Goyer wrote this. Man, why I even maybe a bit more than any other Batman movie ever is the way it's self-referential to the Batman mythos itself. So it's telling, like, Ra's al Ghul is often used, the character played by Neeson is often used to really explain a lot, to really not explain, but to really say to the audience, like, hey, this is what Superman means to us. It's like he's letting us in on what. I love that scene in Batman Begins. When the introduction of Ra's al Ghul, it's so fantastic. That intro of Ra's al Ghul, it's so good. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it together, and I'm gonna break down what I love about this intro to Ra's al Ghul. It's fantastic. So let's watch this together.
We're going on the trip of a lifetime.
Fuck you.
Here's to Scotland.
Here we go in Batman
Are you
Begins.
so desperate to fight criminals that you lock yourself in to take them on one at a time?
Actually, there were 7 hours.
See? Fun.
I counted 6, Mr. Wayne.
How do you know my name?
The world is too small for someone like Bruce Wayne to disappear, no matter how deep he chooses to sink.
Who are you?
My name is merely Ducat, but I speak for Ra's al Ghul, greatly feared by the criminal underworld.
Right. So, this introduction to him is fantastic. And then we start to, like, talk about this later. I don't want to give too much, of this, because otherwise I'm going to get dinged by fucking, YouTube. But one of the beauties of this scene, I think, is how they use Ra's al Ghul and why he's one of my favorite villains actually ever. I think Liam Neeson does such a fantastic job as Ra's al Ghul. I think the performance is fantastic. I think the performance here by fucking anyone who tells me Ben Affleck's Batflex in the whole of Batman v Superman doesn't have a scene as good as this. Even as good as this scene, this is fucking Bruce Wayne to me, man. This is Bat fucking man. And this scene is fucking fantastic. And this is what I love.
No. The vigilante is just a man lost in a scramble for his own gratification. He can be destroyed or locked up. But
if you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal,
they
it can't stop you. You become something else entirely. Legend, Mr. Wayne. Fuck yeah. Give me that all day, fucking every day, and twice on fucking Sunday. And you know why I love that fucking scene? That scene tells the audience what the legend of Batman means to them. It's like a meta-analysis. It's like the film talking outside of itself directly to the audience and saying, yeah, like that's what Batman is to us. And I would have loved DC movies to keep on going in that kind of direction and doing just scenes like that where it's like Wonder Woman and what is Wonder Woman mean to us, and and what does Superman. But they've never ever been able to nail it in the way that Batman Begins did. It was fucking beautiful, that scene, and there's many more like it. I'm so excited about this movie. It's absolutely 100% Batman Begins has to go in the good people Kal-El they wish to be, right? It dark. It's got a real Gotham. It's a Batman movie. My dick was so hard when he pulled out that Joker card in at the end of the movie, and I watched this in the cinemas, and it came from nowhere. Like he suddenly says, like, I never even been. I was watching it, not even thinking about the fucking Joker. I was just like, yeah, this is a cool Batman movie, and I don't know, because I'll be honest with you, I did watch the animated series and I did read a lot of Batman comics, but I'd never heard of Ra's al Ghul as a Batman villain. When I picked up comics in the comic store, I always, picked up really the more famous Batman villains like Riddler, Joker, those kind of comics. Those were the ones I was more interested in of Batman. So I'd read a lot of Batman vs. Joker, Batman vs. Riddler, Batman with Catwoman, Batman even in Bane. But I never really I never even really remembered the episodes Too Tough where he was facing Ra's al Ghul. So I thought it was really clever to bring a Batman villain like that in the first movie. And certainly, Scarecrow was another one where I was like, yeah, I knew him. I remember him from the animated series, but I never was checking for him Too Tough. So it was a surprise to me when I figured out, oh shit, the Crane guy is Scarecrow. Sick. All right. But then, definitely the fucking Batman Begins part, where I literally, my nipples were hard. It would have been a sex crime if there was somebody next to me in the fucking Batman. I was in an almost empty theater. It would have been a sex crime if there were people next to me because my dick was so fucking hard, and I stroked it a little bit when I saw the Joker card. It was that epic a reveal. It was so electrifying. Until this day, I can just pop on Batman Begins whenever and I still enjoy it. Batman Begins is just one of those movies. Literally, I can pop it on now and watch it from beginning to end, and I have no problem. Favorite DC movie? I think it's I would say. All right, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to give away the rest of my thing. All right, so let's go on to Batman Returns. Now, Batman Returns is complicated for me. Batman Returns is a very, very interesting movie for me in terms of how I view it as a film. I don't, as people remember. I think if Schumacher had have come back with another film of the quality of Batman Returns, if he had have come back with another film of the quality of Batman Returns, he may well have not been remembered so badly. I think basically Batman and Robin hurts Batman Returns. And there are aspects of Batman Returns, like Two-Face, the performance by Two-Face. We knew what we were getting as soon as Jim Carrey was hired in the movie. So, and Jim Carrey, he does his Jim Carrey thing, and he does it well, to be honest, right? I don't like my Riddler like that. I would like a darker, more intense Riddler, but since they're doing it like that, the script is not as witty as the first two Batman movies. That's another thing. The scripts were so witty in the first two Batman movies. But one thing I do really like about this Batman movie is I actually like Batman. I think Val Kilmer is highly underrated as a Batman. I thought he did a terrific job. He was the only thing that grounded this movie in any kind of fucking reality, really. I don't know that it's a good movie either. It's so complicated. It could go on anything from good to trash, this movie. Certainly not unfucking watchable. Look, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Batman Forever. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna put it in regular. I think it's got a rewatchability factor. I think even where it's bad, it's like one of those movies. It's so bad it's good. Whereas Batman and Robin, I know some people see that as one of those fun bad movies, but I can't fucking stand that movie. In fact, I think it's the only movie where I walked out of the cinema, and even, you know, as a kid, I realized that the quality in the Batman movies had gone down substantially. But I was such a big Batman fan by then. I was a Batman fanboy. I was a Batman stan by the time Batman Forever came out. So I just got everything Batman Forever. I got the video. And I didn't realize I was an idiot, because really what I was doing was actually, because I wasn't old enough to go and have seen Batman Returns in the cinema and get Batman Returns the video. I think I rented it a lot, so Batman Returns, but I certainly didn't see it in the cinema because I wasn't old enough or something. I don't know. It wasn't like you just go to the cinema like every time, back in the day. I wanted to see it definitely in the cinema, but I didn't go to the cinema to watch it, like, because I just didn't go to cinemas that much back then. But by the time I got to Batman Returns, that was the time where I was old enough to go to cinemas by myself, and I loved film so much, so I went to go and watch films in cinemas, right? And I was a fan of Batman because of Batman Returns, and I basically fed the ammunition, because I think Batman Forever made more money than Batman Returns, which is an absolute, well, I won't go into it, but that's a travesty to me. I won't go into it much, because we'll talk about Batman Returns a bit later. But anyway, as far as Batman Forever is concerned, right, I supported that movie a hell of a lot more than it deserved. It was not good enough to get that much, but it was still all right. It was all right for you for you enough to be to trick your mind into thinking, it's all right, it's good enough. And I remember I hated Robin being brought into the Batman. I don't like fucking Robin. I've never liked him as a character. In fact, the only Robin I've ever liked is the one from Batman, the Dark Knight Returns animated film. It's the only Robin I've ever liked, the female one, Kelly. I think she's cool. The rest of the Robins can go fuck themselves, to be honest. I don't like Dick. I don't like his son, the new one, who's just an asshole. He's kind of a millennial dick douche. I don't like any of them. I don't like even like the movie, which is a fantastic movie, which is what is it, the Red Hood or whatever. That's the most interesting, compelling Robin story where Robin just dies straight away. I don't want to know. I don't want to see him working. He's so silly as a character. Just the idea of this kid wearing that shit, working with a Batman who's just this loner, just it drives me crazy. I can't stand fucking Robin. I mean, maybe they can use him in a movie as a tech guy, like who's working, like helping Batman in the background, but like being out there in the war zone with Batman, just I didn't like it then. I didn't. So that was one of the things that triggered me in Batman Forever. And then other things triggered me. But what I thought was the strongest thing about this movie, and the thing that I thought was most fun about this movie, was the trail of Batman himself. I liked what Val Kilmer did with Batman. I thought he made a very good Batman. He was much better Batman than George Clooney. And this is controversial, but I think I like him a little bit more than Ben Affleck. I'm sorry, guys. I do. I like him a little bit more than Ben Affleck. I wouldn't rank him higher than Ben Affleck, and I'd still be, it would still be Bale, Keaton, Ben Affleck, then Val Kilmer. But I just think the movie let Val Kilmer down. I don't think it was his acting. I think I liked his performance. He elevated this movie to be something better than it was, definitely. So Jonah Hex, I'm gonna use for DC movies because I haven't seen it. So I'm gonna use for DC movies. So far we've got Wonder Woman 84. I can't think of anything else that isn't on here. Oh, Joker is there. Joker is there. Good. So Wonder Woman 1984 isn't there. Superman 1, 2, and 3. Is Supergirl there? If Supergirl's there, we're good. It looks like. I haven't seen this one. It's a Swamp Thing, I believe. 2 or something. I didn't know they made 2. And I haven't seen this one. So these are just bad movies anyway. So I haven't seen them yet. The Kitchen, I've heard, is quite good. But I can rank the rest of the movies now because I've seen all of these movies. And I'm going to use one of these for Wonder Woman 1984, basically. So let's go on to Shazam. Shazam is fucking awesome. It's a fucking great movie. It's one of the best comic book movies of all time. Fuck the world if you think different. Would I have done Shazam different? Would I have done Shazam a little bit more down to earth? Would have done Shazam a little bit more like Stranger Things, in that tone, rather than the tone that it chose. But I like the tone. I like the emotion in this movie. There's a lot of emotion. The family sense of this movie. I think this movie really, in many ways, does for Shazam what Batman Begins did for Batman. But at the same time, it has the fun, and the tone of the old Batman movies and the old Superman movies. It has both the sense of, having, this classical, story, where, in Batman Begins, fear is the theme that's explored. And in Shazam, it's his family that make him a hero. He has to find a family, and that will make him a hero, right? Whereas Batman has to confront his fear, Billy has to confront the fact that family isn't what isn't what you're born with. It's what happens. It could be your family. It could be your friends. It could be your girlfriend. It could be family is something that isn't just what you're born with. It's something that you find throughout life. And I think the movie is so sweet, and it's so. It's such a great warm Christmas movie, and it's another one of those movies I honestly can put on at any time, and that's why I think they can be a good people, Kalal. Now, are there problems with this movie? Yeah, there are. is it a masterpiece? And you might ask, why am I putting a movie that I don't think is a masterpiece in They Can Be a Good People, Kalal? I think it's that fun and that enjoyable that it doesn't even need to be a masterpiece. Look, it could have had a better score, right? I think the actor that they chose to play Billy and the actor that they chose to play the Shazam could have done a little bit more to make the character unified. I think Shazam acts a lot. Shazam, the older the Shazam superhero guy, acts like a younger character than Billy. And now I understand you can say, "Oh well, Billy he feels more liberated to be himself when he's Shazam," but that's bullshit. Because if that was true, it should have gradually built up. It should have gradually happened where Billy. Sorry, this is going to be huge spoilers for all of these movies, by the way. Where Billy actually, becomes more liberated as he becomes Shazam. So he should have started off like, oh, I'm, like the too cool for school Billy, and then become more and more silly as it goes along. Um, I would have chosen a younger Billy, even though I think the actor who plays Billy, I love him. I thought he was great in the role. I thought he was fantastic. Couldn't have thought, done a better job. I think the older Shazam actor, if, they were both playing two great characters individually, but they needed to match those two great characters up so that they felt like one great character. And I think that's the major and only flaw I see in the film. But because the two characters are equally enjoyable, it doesn't matter to me. And it never goes off the rails silly either or too comic booky. It's always grounded in the heart and reality of this story of this family. This very sweet foster family, this rainbow coalition foster family that they have there. And I love the ending, man. I thought, Jesus Christ, sorry, like these are children, so I didn't get my nipples didn't get hard because they're kids, god damn it. But I was just in tears, man. I like that was so beautiful to me, that this foster family, and it was showing the foster care system in this great way, and that these families really care about each other, and that him finding that love, you know um that love basically pulled him through to actually, yeah, that pulled him through to able to share his powers with his family. Now, another criticism: the villain could have been done a little bit better. I don't think the villain should have had the same exact powers as Shazam. It should have, Dr. Savannah doesn't have the same powers as Shazam in the comics. Maybe they should have played around with magic a little bit more. He has magical powers rather than super strength. Because what are you going to do when Shazam has to face Black Adam now? So that was one of the things I thought that's why it's not as good as Batman Begins. So we're going to order these. So Batman Begins is number one, Shazam is number two at the moment. So we're going to order these, in how good they are, right? So it was definitely fucking awesome. But the villains could have been better, or the villain could have been done better. The CGI could have been done better. A bit more fight scenes. I would have liked a little bit more of a memorable score. I think that David Sandberg cut out crucial scenes that could have made this movie that much more fun and epic and better. But all in all, a fantastic job in the first Shazam movie. I loved it. All right, so next movie, Losers. Where am I going to put Losers? I like The Losers. I thought it was a fun movie. Nothing too memorable. I've only watched it once. I'm going to put that in good tier. It's a good movie. It's a good little action movie. Nothing special. I can't remember too much of it, but it was certainly fun. Is The Watchmen here? Yeah, good. So Watchmen is there. Now, Aquaman. The Aquaman action is fantastic. Action-wise, this movie is so fucking awesome. The last fight scene is a little bit messy, and I don't know what the fuck's going on and who's fighting who. The script and the acting is fucking atrocious in a lot of this movie. There are charismatic performances, even though it's bad acting, but the performances are quite charismatic, even though it's bad in the acting department. And that's really hard to explain, but that's just the way it is. So yeah, this is a confusing movie. I'm gonna put this regular. It's not good. It's not good at all. The action is just it's a failure. It's a failure on a screenwriting level. The dialogue is poor. The screenplay is messy. By the end of it, it's just like, what the fuck? They go into the middle of the earth and meet dinosaurs, and it's just like, this film's bonkers, bro. And I can see it being one of those bonkers films that people find too so bad it's good. I really can, because it's that fucking wild. You're just like, I was never into Aquaman. As I think he's the worst DC of the Justice League characters. I honestly think Martian Manhunter's better. I like Green Lantern's lore better. I like all of them. I don't know why they would choose Aquaman to put out before all of these great fucking characters like Green Lantern. And Aquaman is just, to me, it's just, I wish he wasn't even in this fucking Justice League. I wish it was, to me, I'm sorry, I think the animated series had it right. You know, it was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter. That, to me, is the best Justice League team you can make. It covers all the borders. You know, you have diversity in there. You have a woman and a strong female in there. Aquaman, what the fuck is he? And this film tries to make sense of what Aquaman is. And you finally realize, nope, it wasn't just me. I wasn't just crazy. Aquaman is fucking bonkers, you know, as a character. And yeah, I've never got into him. I tried the New 52 comics, didn't get into it. Aquaman has never been for me. Sorry. So regular, because the action scenes are good, and because I think there's charisma even in the bad acting, if that makes sense. Jason Momoa has a charisma, a likability to him, where even though he's acting bad, it kind of works. I don't know why. Batman 89. This hasn't aged well. I'm gonna put this in 6 here, and only for 2 reasons. Keaton's electrifying performance as Batman, and Jack Nicholson's electrifying performance as the Joker. That is why this goes in 6th tier. In terms of the narrative and the whole mid part of this film, it is bad. It's actually regular. Like, it's really, it hasn't aged well. It was fun for the time. The action scenes aren't great. Batman looks like he's moving around like a robot. Like, it's not fucking good in terms of a lot of things. But Joker makes this film so fun, and Michael Keaton's performance as Bruce Wayne Batman, as this weird, eccentric billionaire kind of loner, is so fun. And the Gotham City that is created, which is even better. Well, we'll talk about the sequel later. But the Gotham City that's created is quirky and kind of like 1950s, like it's cool. It's an awesome movie. Awesome Gotham City, aesthetic and cinematography and set design wise. The Batman movie is fantastic. It's got a better Gotham than the Nolan movies, in my opinion. I like the Gotham in this movie. It's very, very like fairy tale meets, You know, I like the Gotham a lot in this movie. So having said that, yeah, Batman is a great fucking movie. It's sick tier. What to me, the Joker in that Batman movie is so good because he's got all the sick jokes. He's not just spewing philosophies all the time, you know, in the way that you know, another great performance of the Joker is going to do later in Heath Ledger. You know, he actually has jokes that you think like the Joker would make, and I love that. And I like that about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker as well, where there's really dark jokes like that you'd expect the Joker to make. And I thought that was missing. I thought that fun was missing a little bit from Heath Ledger's performance as Joker, even though we'll talk about that one much a bit later. So I'm going to put Batman in sick tier for now, just because of that performance by Jack Nicholson of the Joker, and I think Keaton is magnificent as the Batman as well. Right, this one. All right, so Batman and Robin, to me personally, is fucking unwatchable. I can't even watch the movie. I don't even. It's not even good in a bad way. It's trash. It's worse than trash. I saw it once in the cinema, walked out. I've seen bits and pieces of it since. Never watched it again. Just couldn't be bothered. There's only one DC movie I can say that of, and that's this one. There's one that I watched maybe twice or three times. No, there's one more actually. There's fucking one more. There's one more piece of trash. Sorry, my mistake. But yeah, this is unwatchable. It's unfucking watchable to me. I can't even create. George Clooney is absolutely miscast. Worst Batman. I don't care if you put George Clooney in the best. Like you put him in Batman Begins, he still would have been trash as Batman. That's bad casting. That's the worst thing about this movie. The worst casting ever. Mr. Freeze as Arnold Schwarzenegger is nothing in terms of bad casting in comparison to George Clooney as fucking Batman. That is so asinine, backwards, stupid, unbelievably bad. Fuck you casting. I cannot even begin to comprehend what people were thinking when they cast George Clooney as Batman. I have to say that. One other thing about that fucking terrible movie. Now let's not talk about it. I forgot it ever since I walked out of that cinema. It disgusted me. Literally disgusted me. All right. So straight in there, they can be a good people, Kal-El. Batman Returns is fucking awesome sauce. It's one of the best Batman movies. It's not quite as good as Batman Begins or the, you know, well, we'll see where we put The Dark Knight. But it's definitely, for me, better than some of Nolan's movies. And we'll see which Nolan movie I'm talking about there. Catwoman is one of the best performances. In fact, fuck it. I'm going to say it now. It is the second best performance in a Batman film of a Batman villain is Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns. And hey, you know what? The Penguin ain't too bad either. And a lot of people say, well, this ain't the real Catwoman. This ain't the real Penguin. And it's all weird. And he eats fish. No. It's a fairy tale. Think of it as an Elseworld in which Gotham City is like this weird dark fairy tale land, right? And he's writing his graphic novel, much like a lot of Elseworld Batman films, right? Where, Batman graphic novels, like, you know, there's that one Arkham Asylum or something, right? Where there's different, darker, weirder versions of these villains. You know, it's not just like, God, this fucking cartoon. Because, let's think about who the Penguin and who Catwoman actually are in the comics, right? Catwoman is a cat burglar, right? She has no real motivation. She has no reason she can really even stand up to Batman. She has nothing. She has no fucking character, really. She's not like the Joker, where or you know, like there's characters. It's the same with the Penguin, right? And someone like the Cheetah, you know, who's a Wonder Woman villain. These are characters really where the Riddler and Joker, as characters, they write themselves. Brainiac as a character writes his own story. Ares as a character writes their own story. Why am I saying that? Because as villains, they have an inbuilt gimmick, you know, the Riddler, riddles, right? And they have a motive that has been established in the comics of what exactly they desire or want, that makes sense when facing Batman. So what does Riddler want? He thinks of himself as a genius, the most intelligent criminal in the world, and he wants to outsmart the greatest detective in the world, right? And therefore he leaves all these riddles, right? It's a great gimmick. It's a great motivation. The film writes itself when you write a Riddler movie or you write a Riddler comic. It writes its fucking self. You don't have to try too hard to come up with a reason for this person being in this world. The only thing I'd say about Catwoman that does give her some kind of character is she's a love interest to Batman. She's a femme fatale love interest, so that gives her some, you know, connection to the Batman mythos. But beyond that, what is her motive as a cat to steal shit? Do you think that's worthy of fucking Batman? Like she steals some stuff. So and Penguin's even worse. What does Penguin do? He's a mayor. He's a criminal, bad, big, you know, like gangster. So there's not an inbuilt reason for them to exist that they necessarily have to come up against Batman, right? So in this film, you know, they're given like these kind of weird reasons, and they're tweaked a bit to fit this weird Gotham reality, you know. And the good thing is, the core of Batman is still there in this Burton movie. The reason, the why of Batman as Zack Snyder is still there. Zack Snyder usually says is still there. But the great thing about Penguin and Catwoman in this movie is while they're, you know, while they're great, while they are good Batman villains, you know, that they fit the world that Burton has created. They don't, at the same time, they're not unrecognizable. They still follow the motifs. She's still somebody who's a cat burglar. She's still somebody who is in love with Batman. They use the mayor motif of the Penguin, where the Penguin is usually a mayor or a politician in the Batman mythos. So they use that aspect, but they just, you know, change it up and make it a little bit more interesting. And I love the 9 Lives. I think it's the most interesting Catwoman I have seen on screen in comics probably ever. Is Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, and she's the second best performance of a Batman villain in the whole of the Batman movies and the mythos surrounding it. So yeah, I salute you, Michelle Pfeiffer. We've got 30 minutes left till Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer drops. I might start a new stream for the Zack Snyder Justice League trailer dropping. All right, we're going to go to Batman v Superman. I've talked at length about this in other videos. I'm going to put this in. Yeah, I wish I could put this in sick tier, but I'm going to put it in good tier simply because the Superman isn't great in this movie. I like the Batman, I like the Wonder Woman. I don't think the casting is good. I think Ben Affleck he was a good Batman, he didn't elevate it. He didn't take Batman to another level in the way that Keaton and Bale's interpretation of Batman did, and even Val Kilmer's interpretation of Batman. It didn't take it to that new level, a different kind of Batman. I just felt like it was kind of trying to be Nolan's Batman, but with an actor that wasn't as compelling as Christian Bale. That's what it felt like to me. And certainly the casting of Lex Luthor has been very, very controversial. I like the character because I think he came right out of the Birthright comic, but I still want to put this in sick tier. But everything, like even the way it ends, you don't care about Superman, and then it ends with Superman dying, and I didn't feel anything, even though Superman's my favorite superhero. That says about the film that I came away feeling nothing at the end of the film. All I'd seen is some cool scenes. That's what I'd seen after watching the movie. So I don't know. I'm going to put it in good tier. Let's move on to Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey. All right. Birds of Prey. Where do I put Birds of Prey? It's so close to being trash. I'll tell you why. There are aspects that I like about this movie, right? I like the performances. I think it's well acted, I think there's moments where it's humorous and there's moments where I feel like I like Harley Quinn. I also think I'm a bit unfair on this movie because I don't know why this movie exists. I think Harley Quinn plays much better as part of an ensemble cast, which is why she's so good in her animated series at the moment. But I just don't see her as a solo star player of her own series, of her own show. Oh, sorry, of her own film. Right? I think she works better in the Suicide Squad, like next to other people. So there's that aspect. So I just think it's a waste of a movie. Why didn't you spend that money on doing fucking anything else? Like, I don't know, another superhero. I would have rather a Vixen movie, a Vixen DC movie than this movie. Like anything else. Like that felt like could be moving towards the Justice League, right? Like, so yeah, as far as this movie is concerned, what I don't like about it and why I'm putting it's so close to being trash, is the action is so badly choreographed in this movie. The dialogue is strange and bizarre a lot of the time. It's not that compelling. It feels like a fucking cartoon. And it doesn't mean anything. I don't feel any reality. Even the things that I thought I would really like about this movie, like I thought the cinematography is going to be like really crazy and out there, and really kind of neon, and even that is kind of pedestrian in this movie. I think Suicide Squad is a better looking movie than Birds of Prey. And the last action scene where they're in some clown house is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. The rest of the characters, the rest of the Birds of Prey characters, are just not there. And I think, this is Margot Robbie's ego trip. She's like, oh, you've got to give me, if you want me to stay on in this role, you've got to give me my own solo movie. And I instead of casting actors who are at my level, right, to star in this movie alongside me, so that I have strong counterpoints. And all right, like let me talk like strong counterpoints to act off. You know, like throw fucking Amanda Waller in this movie. This movie would have been much better if Amanda Waller was in it. You know, somebody strong, a powerful character for her to act off. These actors just weren't cutting it. They were not good enough. And yeah, like so you have all of these actresses next to Harley Quinn in this movie, and they weren't that good. They were they weren't bad. I mean, and Rosie Perez, you know, I always love her, but I don't think she was cast well for this movie. I don't know, man. It's like something's missing. There's something, you know. It's so trying to be some kind of feminist. Uh, uh, Harley Quinn is not a feminist superheroine character, really. Um, if anything, the only aspect of it that is feminist is the fact that she she is in an abusive relationship with 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 the Joker, and that's what's interesting about her. And to be fair, in the animated series, I never found her that great either. I don't like Joker with sidekicks. I don't like, you know, like other than henchmen, you know, I don't like Batman with Robin and Joker with Harley. All of that is garbage to me. I think Joker should be the type of person who just kills somebody like Harley Quinn. It doesn't make any sense to me, the Harley Quinn character. So, all in all, is Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey in the comics? Because I don't believe she is. All in all, Birds of Prey is a film movie that confuses me so much that I don't even know what to put it in. I don't know that it knows what it's trying to be. I think it's discombobulated. I think it's all over the place. I think the action is hysterically bad. I think the girl power moments in it are cringy, even though there's not that many. I'll give the movie that. Like a lot of people criticize it for being like, you know, like Batwoman and Captain Marvel level cringe when it comes to female power kind of stuff. It doesn't force feed that kind of stuff down your throat. There are bits and pieces here and there where it comes to the forefront, and they're yeah, I don't know. I don't even like Margot Robbie's performance as much in this movie. She's such a good actress that it's still a good performance, but it's one of her weakest performances I've seen in any movie that she's been in. Like if you put this across the spectrum of, and I think she was better. I think she was much better in Suicide Squad. That's my opinion. She's much better in Suicide Squad than she was in this movie. So we're gonna move on to the next movie. Oh, it's coming up now. It's so fucking close. Let's see if there's been any. No update yet on the Justice League Snyder Cut movie. So yeah, I think I've made my case against why you know it's not that good. Uh, yeah, Birds of Prey is. I mean, can anybody tell me that this fight's fucking good? I just want to scene with everyone. The first fight scene is quite good, but it's stupid because the cops aren't shooting at her, even though she's invading a police station. And then the second action scene is ridiculous. Like, all right, this action scene for me is it's not fun.
Ziggy's,
It's just
40%
stupid.
less sugar and more protein than the leading Greek yogurt.
Well, I just remember this fight scene just being so
We're
fucking
going on a trip of a
absurd.
lifetime. Here's to Scotland.
Are we ready? Bad guys, just outside.
Annoying.
Follow me.
One of the things as well you'll notice in these action scenes is like they never, you haven't figured out which, like how the birds of prey have different abilities and fighting styles, so that you know, like each one of their fighting styles is different and makes it fun and unique when they work together. None of that is established. They all kind of do martial arts, you know, and they all kind of, you know. And one other thing I fucking hate about the Harley Quinn character in general is till this day, no one fucking explains why she can do all this martial arts shit. She fell in love with the Joker. She was a psychiatrist. Why is she so good as a fighter? Why can she do all these backflips and stunts? And I thought this film was going to explain it. Again, no explanation for that. It's just poor. So look at this as an action scene.
Come on, it's okay, come on. You shouldn't have to see this. Hold on to this for me, okay? That's all you think about. Just close your eyes and hold it tight, okay?
The fuck is she talking about?
You'll be safe.
Haven't they been hanging out already? Like, this is such a silly idea for an action scene. Like, what is this? It's slow. The impact doesn't work. Like, it's so slow and muddling. I don't believe anything anyone is doing in these action scenes. Look. And they all fight the same. It's just, they all fight exactly like each other. It's just trash. And then this has got to be one of the worst bits. Oh well. All right. So that it's action scene at the end. I said Black Mask was kind of fun. So I'm gonna put it on reg because Black Mask is kind of fun. All right, fucking Catwoman, unfucking watchable. I've watched it once. Halle Berry's bad. Everyone's bad. Why they didn't pick up from the Catwoman from Batman Returns is beyond me. You should have got Michelle Pfeiffer to do a cool Catwoman. You know, trying to do a burglary film. It's trash. It's really trash. By the way, Batman v Superman is better than The Losers. So Batman v Superman 1, Losers 2nd. Where will I put? I genuinely believe Batman Returns is better than both Aquaman and Birds of Prey. Maybe not better than Aquaman. I don't know, man. I really think it is. I think, look, hate me if you want. I think Batman Returns is better than Aquaman, and Aquaman is better than Birds of Prey. So our top three are Batman Begins. What is actually Catwoman is more trash than is Batman and Robin. Right, so we're gonna do the worst at the beginning. The worst. Oh, should we do the worst afterwards? So this should be. I don't know. So this is the best of this of the regular ones, and then Aquaman, and then you've got Birds of Prey. I know that's controversial. They're all pretty bad. Like these ones here, like in terms of the overall quality. They're just watchable. That's the thing. Like you can watch them. it's not completely unwatchable, but at the same time, and it's not trash, and there's fun to be had in them. And I guess I just think there's a tiny bit more fun to be had in Batman Returns. Um, but it is goofier in many ways than these two last movies. That one's really hard for me to like figure out. Honestly, those I dislike them almost equally. On some days, I could put Birds of Prey as the best one out of all of those three. Really, because it's the least goofy for me, and it's got the best acting in some ways as well. It's got better acting than Aquaman. I don't know, man. That's the hardest one for me to figure out. Anyway, so we're talking about Catwoman. So Catwoman is unfucking watchable. I don't even want to talk about it that much. I don't want to give it that much credence. It's literally just fucking unwatchable. I've seen it once. I remember a basketball scene, and it's very, very forgettable. This one, a lot of people like Constantine. I think it's pretty trash, man. Like, it's not comics. He's not British. I know a lot of people like the darkness of the film and stuff, and it does have some pretty cool imagery. But as a film, it just isn't cohesive. It doesn't get you into it soon enough, and it's very forgettable. I'd like to give it another go, because the acting is great. Um, am I gonna put? You know what? I'm not gonna put it in trash, because I'll tell you what. I think I enjoyed it a little bit more than any of these movies. Maybe these movies should be in trash. I enjoyed it just for the monsters and the design and the tone of the movie. So I think I'm gonna put it in regular. It's not unwatchable. And just from the monster designs and the CGI, I think I enjoy that aspect of the movie enough to make what it is. Now, a regular movie. Moving on to The Dark Knight. All right. The Dark Knight is, what hasn't anyone already said about it already? It's fucking awesome sauce. I like it a lot. Joker's awesome. Heath Ledger's iconic. I think it was a couple of mistakes was made. I think them recasting Katie Holmes was stupid, because it meant the payoff where the character died, you didn't have the emotional weight because the actress had changed. So it was like, um, you know, trying to take your emotion from one person. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, it would be like recasting your child or something. You're not going to be as emotionally invested as a mother or father as a child that you didn't raise from a baby. He looks different. Like, that's not, good. Like, if you're going to kill off a character and you want us to emotionally resonate, you needed to bring Katie Holmes back for better or worse. And I think she was really good in the first movie, Batman Begins. That's one performance I didn't mention in Batman Begins that gets highly underrated. Katie Holmes was fantastic. I loved her a lot in that movie, and I think it was a downgrade. Honestly, the woman who played Katie Holmes, his character, what's her name? Rachel Dawes. The woman who played her in The Dark Knight, Maggie Gyllenhaal, should have played Catwoman. She would have been a better Catwoman than Anne Hathaway was a Catwoman. That would have been much, much better casting. As for the movie itself, and what I think of The Dark Knight, I'm going to put it right behind Batman Begins, because it has some fatal flaws. I think the Two-Face, good performance as he was good as the DA Harvey Dent, but he wasn't good as Two-Face. I didn't like him as Two-Face. And the way the story wraps up with him isn't very good. I also think that, it's getting really close to fucking Zack Snyder Day now. The trailer is imminent. The new Zack Snyder trailer. Let's just make sure. Fuck off. Wait. No. 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 It looks like it's 2 hours till the fucking thing. Don't fuck around with me. All right, let's just try. Fuck. All right, so I've got 2 hours to go. So I'm gonna finish this, have a little bit of a break, order some food, and then we'll do. Jesus Christ, I can't believe that I've like great fucking news. So the Zack Snyder trailer, unless I'm very wrong, is coming out in 2 hours rather than when I thought it was coming out. So let's make sure we're gonna look up on Snyder Day official Snyder. Um, no. Wait a second. Now it's changing. But all right. So we to wait. Good getting all of our Zack Snyder Day out of the way. The Dark Knight, as I said, a little bit too convoluted, a little, adding Two-Face in there, I don't think was necessary. And I also think that they could have done a much better job casting Two-Face. The casting of Rachel Dawes hurt the moment where Rachel Dawes died. I think it's got a little less emotional depth than Batman Begins. I think in Batman Begins, you really feel the emotional journey, whereas this one and is kind of sidelined in this movie, a lot like Joker's doing. And Heath Joker is fan, but I feel like it's much more the performance. The writing is good, but very, very, it's a bad habit that Nolan's has of doing a lot of exposition, and it's very, very exposition heavy. The Joker, but his performance is so charismatic that whatever the Joker's saying, even though it's exposition, it's fucking awesome. So, it elevates the fact that really Joker's just kind of telling us his philosophy. He isn't living his philosophy or having actual conversations with people like in the original Burton Batmans, where he's making jokes and sick jokes. He's telling people what the Joker is. And they did that in Batman Begins, but it worked better because Ra's al Ghul was the one telling us Batman is, or is Alfred telling us Batman is. It wasn't Batman himself, or Bruce Wayne himself commenting on, how we in the outside world feel about Batman. So anyway, good movie, masterpiece in some ways, but even masterpieces have a few flaws here and there. And I think the Two-Face strand of this movie is a big flaw. They should have maybe set him up for the next movie. And definitely, I think there's a lot of exposition. It looks beautiful. The action is great when it's more the technical kind of, when he's doing car chases or airplane lifts and all of that. The action's great. The combat in could be better in the Nolan movies, and yeah, so Nolan's fantastic. He's Nolan, and he does a great fucking job in this movie. Uh, some may argue it's the best Batman movie ever. I like Batman Begins more. Oh, there was one more thing. The Gotham City in this. I don't think the Gotham City is as interesting in Batman Begins. Oh, sorry, in the Dark Knight as is in Batman Begins. But that being said, I think the Gotham City in Batman Begins looks more like it's from the comics, from a graphic novel, and it's more of a character in the film than the one that we finally got. That being said, about the Dark Knight, it is one of Nolan's best, and it is a masterpiece. Anybody who says that the Dark Knight is better than Batman Begins, it's a rational. There is every reason to think, to judge the Dark Knight as a much more impressive um, piece of cinema and achievement than Batman Begins. But I really think when it comes down to it, they're about equal. And you can't get the Dark Knight without Batman Begins, without such a solid beginning, a great beginning with a great score, with great cinematography, with fun action, with a great central performance of Batman by Christian Bale, with the great reveal. I think it's just a perfectly executed movie to me. Batman Begins, even over the Dark Knight. So there you go. To of the Nolan trilogy, and the last of the Nolan trilogy for me has to go either in sick tier or good tier, and I'm not sure where. I'm gonna put it in good tier, but I'll tell you why. Like, I saw this movie. This was one movie that I saw once in the cinema and I never watched again because I was that displeased with the movie. It just went to places that weren't befitting the Dark Knight. The villain was underwhelming to me. I thought that Bane as a villain was underwhelming when I first saw it. That is, I thought I wanted the Riddler, basically. So there was a bit of a fan tantrum. There was a bit of like, Bane better prove himself to have, be the villain for you to not have used the Riddler. And we're finally getting that Riddler Nolan movie with the Matt Reeves movie finally. But anyway, yeah. So what can I say about the Dark Knight Rises? So it felt like a much worse movie when I initially saw it. Either that, or I've got dumber as I've got older, and my taste has lessened. Because when I first saw the movie, it was a huge disappointment, a huge drop off for me. And now I watch it and I think it's just a minor drop off. So let me tell you what I like about it. I think although miscast, I think she does her best and she makes this Catwoman fun and she makes it her own. That's the star of I can't remember her name right now. Anne Hathaway. I think she's fun, really fun and as kind of like a villain stroke hero. I think she does well, and I like her journey. And I think she does a really, solid performance because she's a fucking really good actress. You can still be miscast in something, even though you're a fantastic actress, and you do your best, and you're such a good actress that even though you're miscast, you make it, you do something good with it. But she didn't take out Catwoman in the slightest. Sorry, Michelle Pfeiffer in the slightest. Michelle Pfeiffer is still she's still the apex in the Catwoman. She takes out every version of Catwoman I've ever seen in animated, in TV, in film. That Catwoman is sick. She's sexy. She's dangerous. She's a real femme fatale. You understand why Batman loves her. The chemistry between Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer in that original Batman movie is off the charts. The chemistry with Christian Bale and this Catwoman, not really there, is it? So there's a lack of chemistry between the two of them. Even I don't know why Batman follows her into this fucking thing and she gets set up by Bane and gets set up by Bane in this movie. I think all of that I don't find that believable, and I don't find the chemistry between them believable. But what about this movie? I think Kristen Bell comes back after a little dip in quality acting as Batman and Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight. I think this movie is much more about Bruce Wayne, even though I don't like the ending of him giving up as Batman, which was another thing that pissed me off in this movie. I was like, wait, so you're telling me this Batman in this universe fights Ra's al Ghul, wins, fights the Joker, wins, takes an 8-year hiatus where he does nothing, and then suddenly fights one more person and then gives up, and then all his money's gone, and all of that stuff was too much for me, man. And I still don't like it to this day. But just because I don't like the storyline or the ending doesn't mean that it wasn't executed really, really, really at a high standard, right? So in terms of that, Rises is really fucking good in its execution of everything it's trying to achieve. I think Bane is a little bit of it's boring, he doesn't have his venom, is Bane venom. I was like really looking forward to, like, how are you going to do a realistic version of Bane venom? Like, it could have been at the end, he had, like, he's had this thing the whole time, like this venom thing, like that Wayne Industries has been creating, like some kind of some kind of steroid, or something that increases strength and doesn't let you feel pain or something like that, and he injects that into himself at the end. That would have been nice, like as a nod to the venom, so I didn't think that was fun. But once I got out of my mind the ideas I had for the film and just watched the film for what it was, I enjoyed it a lot more. it's still not as fun as The Dark Knight. It's definitely not as fun as Batman Begins. It doesn't have the rewatchability factor of either. There's no really fun standout characters for me in this movie apart from Catwoman, and I think Bale does a nice performance as Batman. Once again, fucking Alfred kills it. One of my favorite Alfred so far. I thought Jeremy Irons was doing a good job as Alfred, and I hope in Justice League he kind of keeps on improving as the Alfred in that franchise. But yeah, all in all, it's a fun movie, and I'm gonna put it. It's Nolan's worst movie is better than Zack Snyder's best movie, in my opinion. So it's a nice movie. All right, so Superman Quest for Peace. I believe that's the Quest for Peace. Yeah. You know what? I love Superman, and I loved him as a kid, and I really haven't watched this since I was a kid. And I'll tell you what, I enjoyed this movie as a kid. It was not a bad movie to me as a kid. So it's kind of disingenuous for me to put it in the trash because I know that it is trash, but like in terms of my enjoyment, um, because I was a kid, I don't know. I almost feel like putting it in never watch because that you enjoy is very um to what you watching it as an adult again, and it was just Superman. I loved Superman, right, as a kid, so I loved watching him do his Superman shit. I think you know I still liked the performance by Christopher Reeves in this movie. So I'm gonna put this in never watch. I would put it in trash, but because I don't remember it enough and I enjoyed it as a kid, if I went by my enjoyment, I would put it in fucking um, regular tier. But I liked Superman actually facing Nuclear Man, somebody who can actually fight Superman realistically. But again, it was just, you know, uh, I'm going to put like yeah, I'm going to put it as never watched because I can't have an objective opinion and I don't want to unfairly bash a movie that I just can't remember enough of. But I never felt like the need to go and watch it again like I did Superman 1 and 2, which I watched on repeat when I was a kid and I've watched when I was older and I love them even more now I'm older. Superman 3, similar situation really, except I watched Superman 3 a lot more and I have a really good memory of Superman 3. And I think there's fun to be had in Superman 3. Um, I, I wish they had just made Brainiac the villain. That would have been uh, that the Richard Pryor creates Brainiac somehow. This stupid movie, but I don't know. Like there's Superman fighting himself. I believe in this movie where it's like I love that because it shows that the real heart of Superman is Clark Kent, the nerdy, Clark Kent, and Clark Kent faces the evil Superman. I kind of like when Superman went evil in this movie. There's a lot to like about this fucking movie. And so the performances are fun. I even like Richard Pryor in this movie. I'd say it's more enjoyable than Batman Returns. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I find the movie fun. Still has a great soundtrack. Um, it's not as bad. I think just like Batman Returns was hurt by um by being associated with Batman and Robin. I think also Superman 3 is hurt a lot by its association with Superman 4. Um, so I kind of like it. Again, I'm going to put Constantine above it because I think Constantine's more fun. Green Lantern, another movie. A lot of people think this is terrible. I think there's a lot of fun to be had in Green Lantern. It's a watchable movie. I think there's another cut of it somewhere that's a little bit more enjoyable. But I think all in all, it's got a nice soundtrack. I love when they're on Oa. I think the Oa scene, I think they could have done a sequel to this and improved and tightened up the script a little bit more and made it much more out there in space. And I think you could have had something here. I don't think it was. When I first saw it, I thought it was absolutely astoundingly bad. And I remember the scene that did it for me was the scene where they're at the party and he does some race car thing. I thought all of that was absurd. But the stuff on Oa was cool. I like the villain who was played by the Sansgard guy. I can't remember his first name. It's like Alexander Sansgard or something like that. He plays a good villain, but then when it turns into this other big, massive CG crazy, that's when he jumps the shark a little. But before then, it's an enjoyable movie and it's an enjoyable origin story of Hal Jordan. I liked it. I don't think it was half as bad as people make out. And I think it's better than the Superman 3, just because it's more modern and the CGI, makes the action a little bit more watchable. And it's a watchable movie. It's definitely watchable. It's got a good soundtrack, but definitely regular. I don't know it's trash. Joker. This is a fucking fascinating one for me. Where will I put Joker? Joker's definitely in They Can Be a Good People, Kal-El. But is it above The Dark Knight for me? I honestly would put The Dark Knight and Joker about level. I really, really like and I honestly just would. The only thing that could have made this film better is if they got to Joker quicker. If Joker was the Joker halfway through the movie, even if he was, doing bits and pieces of being Joker and then going back to Arthur Fleck, but like, it's terrifying when he comes in and he does the talk show and you don't know what he's going to do. And it's a terrifying performance that he does as the Joker once he finally turns into the Joker. And to be honest, I like his performance a little bit better than Heath Ledger's Joker. It's just not as good as Heath Ledger because he doesn't spend enough time as the Joker. I really, really need in my life, my body needs it, that they take this and transport Batman franchise. They need to do that because that will make $3 billion if this new Batman movie is good. So Joker is not as fun and as rewatchable for me as Batman Begins. It's not even as rewatchable as The Dark Knight because it's so sad and dour and depressing. But I do think it's an overall better movie. Like, if I was trying to show people why comic book movies have so much potential, I would show them Joker. Like, this is why. Using these archetypes, these are the types of stories you can tell. And I like the mental health, exploration of mental health issues with the Joker as well. So I'm going to now look at this. I'm going to use, what should I use for Wonder Woman 1984? I'm going to use Joker 1984. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to have trash movie. It's very close to being regular, but it would certainly be at the of the heap. Do I like it? I like Wonder Woman 84 more than Birds of Prey, but honestly, objectively speaking, if I wasn't a Wonder Woman fan, I probably would like it worse. Um, not good at action, too much laying on thick all of those things that they want us to emotionally respond to, like Wonder Woman saving people, too goofy. It's got one of the best openings. If the movie continued on like it did from its opening, Wonder Woman would be fucking Dark Knight level. Wonder Woman 84 would be Dark Knight level. I think Open is one of the best openings. The Olympic Games, Amazon Olympic Games, best openings in comic book movie fucking history. But rest of the movie lets it down. There's a little bit right after they get into the invisible jet, all the way to the end of the movie that I think before she fights Cheetah, that I think I like that part of the movie. I think that part of the movie is a regular movie, but it still never reaches the heights of that beginning scene. And I just wish it did, where everything was working together. The soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, the action was spectacular. The everything was firing on all cylinders. And I really hope Patty Jenkins does her homework, because this is a film clearly that didn't do her homework. So Jonah Hex for me is Wonder Woman 1984, and really doesn't do its homework, and it hurts the research her Wonder Woman properly. She just heard, oh, invisible jet. People want to see the invisible jet. Oh, people want to see this and that. People want to see Steve Trevor back, and it just doesn't work. They should have the time leap as well. Really, really infuriates me about this movie. Once you set Wonder Woman in World War One, you might as well just keep her there for another movie, like in World War Two, right? And have her face Cheetah there, and have her face, and have her like pining over, like for one film, have her pining over Chris Pine, without Chris Pine, have her have Amir there with her, and Charlie and Etta Candy, so she's actually working with people, and she has to face World War II. That would have been better. Or fuck it, just set it in modern day, right? Because her pining over a guy for 70, 80 years is just bullshit, and it's not Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman doesn't do that. I know Steve Trevor was a fantastic guy, and yes, she would mourn his loss, but she wouldn't be like, I'm never going to date a guy. I'm going to be, pure virginal Wonder Woman until. Like, what kind of message is that to women? Like, like she can't be independent. She can't live without a man that she hasn't. It's just weird the way they do a Wonder Woman 1984. If it was set in World War II, then you could say, oh, she's still missing her, and then you would have also had, Wonder Woman still trying to acclimatize to the world, which is a fun part of mythology. Wonder Woman, once she knows the world, is not as interesting a character as when she's still getting to know the world, when things are still surprising her, when she's still surprised by the inhumanity of mankind. And you could have retroactively fixed part of what people saw as a problem of the first movie, which was that Ares, like, oh, was Ares behind World War One all the time? By showing like actually Ares is gone now and World War II happened. So it is man that was evil, and her having to deal with that. All of that stuff I think would have been much better. Use Steve Trevor in a couple of flashbacks, a couple of scenes that we didn't see, would have been much better use of the that film. And and again, more exploration of the Amazons. I don't know why they had it that, you know, that fucking the Amazons are still hidden and they haven't been revealed to the world. I think the Amazons should be revealed to the world, and you know, then the world has to deal with the Amazons as well. And Wonder Woman knows where her people are. She can go and see her mother. She can go and get advice from her mother. You know, all of those things. I think there's still potential to save this franchise. There really is. Um, it just takes a good third movie, and hopefully they'll do it. Hopefully this will be like Thor, where the third movie they come out with something a little bit better. And I don't like how cartoony Wonder Woman 1984 was as well. So Wonder Woman 1984 unfortunately has to go in the trash. Here's another trash movie, Justice League, which is going to go after Wonder Woman 1984 because it's still making. It's not even the director's own vision. Nothing in it is worth. It's just a bad movie. The scenes with Superman being so OP, everything is just ill-conceived and rubbish in this movie. I almost don't even want to talk about it. I've got a big rant on Justice League on my channel, and I'll put it in the link below so you can read it. I've done a big discussion of Man of Steel today. I'm going to put Man of Steel. It's got to be better. It's got to be the best of the regular. It's definitely the best of the regular. You know what? I'm going to put it. It's better than The Losers. I'm going to put it right there. It's better than The Losers, definitely. Right. So, Man of Steel is good. It makes me want to put Batman v Superman in sick tier because you know what? Fuck it, because they're so much better for me. Batman v Superman, and they're going in sick tier. Dark Knight Rises is going in sick tier, and so is Batman v Superman. Because I want to make some distinction between how much lower I think the Man of Steel is. Man of Steel is an unfortunate exercise in trying to rewrite the wheel or whatever. You know, like there is no need to change Superman up. When it ain't broke, don't fix it. No one complained about Superman Returns. No one complained that Superman Returns because people didn't like Superman anymore. No one complained about that. They liked Superman. They liked his portrayal. It wasn't that was the problem. It was having him as the Chris Reeve Superman. The noble, good Superman was not the problem with Superman Returns. So the correcting of this Superman is bizarre to me. It baffles me. Now, I know that Superman in the comics has not been the, how would you say, physically challenged, Clark Kent that for a while. And I think that's a mistake because I think it humanizes Clark Kent. I think that performance, whenever you get that Clark Kent in the comics, I enjoy it more. I enjoyed it in All Star Superman. I enjoyed it in Tom's run of Superman. Having that little bit of a, cheeky, Clark Kent, a little bit winks at the audience, but is a fun, hopeful character is important to the Superman mythos. And if you want to do a slightly more realistic take on that, fine. But turning him into just like this stoic, it was the same Superman that they had in Superman the animated series. Turning him into that stoic figure, I just don't know that it works. It takes the character the quirks that make Clark Kent fun to watch away from him. And they did in Smallville. They did a great job once. He'd taken over in the Daily Planet. He was that bumbling Clark Kent a bit, and then he turns into the man. And Superman around with a little bit more. But I think Clark Kent really, that should be the standard. He's the fun Clark Kent. The Clark Kent that's a little bit, wide-eyed country boy, kind of guy. He's a good guy, right? And he's the fun one to watch. And so every once in a while he'll give a little wink towards the audience, not like an obvious wink, but like a deserving like wink. So yeah, I think, which one are we talking about now? We're talking about Man of Steel. Man of Steel, I've talked at length about this in another video, but it's got serious flaws, and narratively, and it's not that enjoyable to rewatch. The action is spectacular, the story is spectacular, the cinematography is spectacular, but there's just nothing there for me in Man of Steel. It's probably the movie I hate most on this list, actually. But I have to admit that, for the most part, there's a lot of competent filmmaking in it. The CGI, the created atmosphere of these is jaw-droppingly good. And I just wish Zack Snyder had got out of his own way, got out of his own head, trying to fix Superman. And it was a bad idea. No, it didn't need fixing. It needed updating. It needed expanding. It didn't need fixing. And it narratively hurts the movie trying to fix Superman. That's what I'm saying. It makes Superman a less enjoyable character. Supergirl. Again, like the Helen. I'm forgetting the actress's name, but Helen Slater, I believe. I like her performance a lot as Supergirl. I think she does a really good job as a wide-eyed innocent. Like, the villain's terrible. It's very close to trash. I'm not gonna lie, it's very close to trash. But there's some charm about this movie, and I liked it as a child. I'd watch this movie again and again as a child. But it is silly, and it is, the villain is fucking silly, and the plan doesn't make sense, and the ending is ridiculous. But I liked her. I liked her performance, and I liked her, and I liked the score. So for that alone, the music, the performance by Helen Slater, which again, she gives a Christopher Lee Reeves level performance, honestly, in this movie. If there's anything you watch Supergirl for, it's that performance. I loved it. But her boyfriend, all of that kind of stuff is whack. And Lois Lane's little sister is actually pretty fun as well in this movie. It's Lois Lane's cousin or a little sister that goes to school with her. Is also kind of fun. So to Supergirl, I'm gonna put right at the bottom of regular. It's better to me than Justice League. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I think that's about right. Red 2. I haven't seen Red 2. Have seen Red 1, and I think it's regular and forgettable. I can't even bother to speak about it. All right, Suicide Squad. Here's an interesting one. I think this is a good movie. I think it's fun. I like the characters. I think the characters allow this movie to really soar above a really messy, a very messy narrative, and an uncompelling final boss villain. I think the villain in this movie is truly Amanda Waller, and I think she's fantastic in this movie. I think the performance is good, but again, certain things you're just like, really, you're going to protect the, this great weapon, and you have her heart, and you're going to protect it with a pencil. Harley Quinn is really fun in this movie. I love the performance of Harley Quinn in this movie. I liked Will Smith was great in this movie. I like the multicultural cast of this movie. I like the cinematography and how weird and neon and everything. I like the comic booky feel of this movie, like the fact that it was telling you the story like you'd read in a comic book, and giving the character bios that way. I thought it was a fun movie. I honestly do. I think it's better than Man of Steel personally, and I think that's why it made more money. I think more people enjoyed it. My opinion. The only problem with the movie, Joker's shit, final boss is shit. A very poor narrative structure and narrative in general. They could have put these fun characters. They could have put in a better mission, basically. Let's see how we're going. All right. Next one is Superman. Which one is this? Superman the movie. Where's Superman 2? I think this means Superman 1 and 2, I guess. So let's turn Red 2 into Superman 2, right? So put Superman. They can be a Bukalo, at least wish to be. Superman has to go in top tier. Now, Superman 1, I'm going to put Shazam over it just because it's the modern day, CGI is better and that kind of thing. And I'm going to put Batman Returns over it because of the Catwoman villainy and Penguin, that 1-2 of those two great villains. That being said, Superman 1 is a fucking blast. I love it. I love the performance by Marlon Brando. I think it's classic. I think that beginning, the beginning is so great when they're telling the origin of Superman. The heart attack of Park Kent it chokes me up every time. I love this fucking movie. It's so classic. The cinematography is great. The score, delicious. I truly, it's hard to see a flaw in this movie. Apart from, I would have liked Lex Luthor to have a different plan. And he shouldn't have flown around the world and changed the thing. It's a movie. Does it age well? It depends on how you look at it. Like, I think Chris Reeves' performance is ageless. It's timeless. I think there's aspects. The score is timeless. I think the first half an hour of this movie is absolutely fucking timeless. I think there's the comedy. Some of the witty lines are great. I think where it isn't timeless is the CGI. If the CGI was better in this movie, if it looked, if the flying and all of it looked better, I think absolutely this could stand up to modern day movies. But because the flying, so because they do such a, they say they'll make you believe a man will fly, and they certainly do in a way, but they don't make you believe that a man can shoot lasers out of his eyes, nor, they don't make you believe in his super strength. His powers just don't come across as viscerally as they should do, as viscerally as they do in, say, like a more modern day movie like Man of Steel. With updated graphics, I think Superman 1 is fucking a killer movie with updated graphics and taking the time travel aspect out of it. So Superman 2, which I'm going to use Red 2 as, same story. Now, I'm very, very tempted. It's above me, so close to being Superman 1 with an awesome villain. in Zod. I win. I always win. I just love this fucking guy. There were times he could have toned it down a little bit. And once again, the only thing that holds this movie back from being fucking fantastic is one thing, and it's the graphics, bro. If this was made a little bit later, if this was made in the 90s, same script, better graphics, you've got a fucking hell of a movie on your hands. And I think it would have been like what Spider-Man and 1 and 2 is, like that kind of um Silver Age comics throwback, but with modern day cinema techniques to bring that Silver Age to life. I love it. Superman 2, it's very rewatchable for me, but I still think that Catwoman performance is so good, and Danny DeVito is so good in Batman Returns, and I don't think it's better than The Dark Knight. I don't think it's better than Batman Begins. So as much as this hurts me, because Superman is my favorite hero, I'm gonna put all 4 Batman movies ahead of Superman. Now here's an interesting one: Superman Returns. Now Superman Returns, to me, goes in. Oh fuck, man. I really like Superman fucking Returns. I don't care what anyone says. It goes in 6th here. I still think it was a stupid movie to make. Don't get me wrong. It was a fucking stupid movie to make. They never should have made this movie. It never should have happened. They never should have tried to make a sequel to the Superman movies of yore, right? Doesn't fit the time. They should have started again like Zack Snyder did and come up with a new Superman in the modern age. It'd been a long time since people had seen that old Superman movie, and doing another real estate scam with Lex Luthor, not having Superman face somebody he can really fight, is just not a great idea. That being said, cinematography, the seeing Superman really be able to be Superman with $1 million budget for the first time was fucking awesome. That fuck saving him flying through the city doing Superman shit. Superman Returns. It really gets harder. Like the even Lex Luthor, it's good casting. It was a great Lex Luthor. That airplane scene is fucking, it gives you tingles. It's basically
Plants are great.
directed.
Getting them home, not so much. Now there's a better way.
It's directed like the old, Superman Fleischer cartoons, where it's so exciting, and there's moments of genuine sadness in this fucking movie. Fuck! See Superman, bro. And it's emotional, this movie, as well, man. I think people forget, man, because they watched it the first time and they forget how fucking awesome this movie is. This movie has some sick shit in it, man. Fuck! Yeah! That's Superman. That's Superman in modern day. And then look at him doing more Superman shit. And they're all gonna die and stuff. Like, whoa, it's exciting. It just looks dope, bro. Cinematography's great. You know, look, basically, it's a bad idea, but you're gonna make a Superman cuff yourself by, you know, by setting it as a sequel to the original Superman movies, by making Lex Luthor the only villain in the movie. If you're gonna do that, this is the best possible version of that movie you could have. I'm telling you, man, Superman fucking does epic shit in this movie. And certain speeches that he does, you know, I hear the, you know, like where he goes, I hear them all the time. I'm always listening out for a person to save them, and then like there's, you know, and I didn't come on this channel like I thought I was going to put this movie in good,
Getting them home.
but the more I think about it, when I rewatch this, it's a lot better than people remember. You know, it's very tension. There's a lot of tension built up. Man saves people. I honestly think they could have made a sequel to this movie, and it. Fuck. Look, he's dead, and then you just see right when it gets to the end, and all hope is lost. I'm nearly in tears at this point. If you watch the film and you watch the emotional journey of these characters, it's quite emotional when this happens. You know, it's almost like Wonder Woman in the No Man's Land scene. It's that good. When he just saves the people. It's fucking awesome. Feel them chills, bro. And you see Superman lifting this heavy fucking thing, flying up in the air.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'll to the end of my days. I don't think this is a bad and sorry, I'm not sure of something above fucking better than Man of Steel. Damn straight, it's better than Man of Steel. It's better than the original Batman movie. I don't know that it's better than Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises is the only one I would put above it. And Batman vs Superman is better than the Batman movie. So yeah, I think it's highly underrated. I would give it another watch. I think the performances are good, the acting is good, the saving. If you get over the fact that Superman isn't going to punch anybody in this movie, and you get over the ridiculous premise of this movie of trying to make a Chris Reeves movie in the future without Chris Reeves, then you've got a pretty fucking darn good time movies. It there's something really edifying and nice about this movie, and it's not. It's a great movie. Oh shit! So Superman 2 is there. I just missed it. So let's put Superman 2 where it actually belongs. Right. And the CGI is fantastic for this movie. So Superman Returns is sick tier. All right. V for Vendetta. I am gonna put V for Vendetta where it fucking belongs, and that is it's the best fucking movie so far on this list. Really, really well done movie. It's the main character's poetic. It's so poignant. It's got such an interesting message about freedom and liberty, and the number of tyranny. It's complicated. It's got fantastic performances. Uh, Independent movie, superhero movie at the same time. It takes itself seriously. It's dark, it's edgy, but it's also got enough funny moments and fun in it for you to enjoy it. This is a total fucking win as a movie. I think V for Vendetta is absolutely fantastic. And the only reason I would put Batman Begins above it is because Batman's in it. And I love Batman so much. But like the action's really good in this movie as well. It's got cool action. I think it's better. I think V for Vendetta is better. I think it's safe to say V for Vendetta is better. On to Watchmen. Talked a lot about Watchmen already in the Zack Snyder breakdown. So I'm gonna put Watchmen just above Shazam. All right. Every movie before then, Watchmen. I think Watchmen is really, really good, almost masterpiece of filmmaking. And certainly, if I was trying to get people into a comic book movie, I'd more likely show them Watchmen than I would Superman 2. I'd definitely show them Batman Returns before Watchmen. I'd definitely show them Joker before Watchmen, and Dark Knight and Batman Begins and V for Vendetta all before Watchmen. But Watchmen is just, it's got great performances, great cinematography, great soundtrack. It's fucking awesome. And that little short film of Dr. Manhattan, I just think rewatchability of it's a movie where, like, once you've watched it, you can get tired when you're watching it again. Like, really, really tired. So that is the only problem with the movie. But apart from that, it's a great fucking great action, spectacular action set pieces. Dr. Manhattan, philosophical, interesting, just not as rewatchable. Once you watch it again, you get sleepy because it's like you want to watch it again, but it's not emotional. It doesn't have an emotional enough connection or journey for you to really be there with these characters to the point where you want to watch it again. But apart from that, fantastic movie. And on to Wonder Woman itself. Where do I put Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman is not as good as V for Vendetta. Wonder Woman is not as good as Batman Begins. Wonder Woman is not as good as Joker. It's not as good as The Dark Knight. It's about on par with Man Returns. This is a perfect place to put Wonder Woman. It is one of the best origin movies of all time. That's why it's so origin movies of a superhero. It's classic filmmaking. in the modern day with modern day CGI. It's got a feel to it of Indiana Jones, of A League of Their Own, of those kind of classic cinema. It all there in a war movie, and it's dark in places, and it's heartbreaking in places, and the no man's land scene, the performance by Gal Gadot, Chris Pine is firing on all cylinders. This is a fantastic movie to watch. And it's so fun to watch as a movie, and yeah, I've just got to put it up there. It really is up there as a classic comic movie. Has it got as good villains as Batman's? No. But like for the epicness of like certain scenes, the action, the fact that it's modern day CGI, so the action's a little bit more fun there. The fact of the emotional journey of the character, the fact it's such a classic origin movie. I just think it edges Batman Returns out by a little bit, even though there's not one performance in Wonder Woman that is as good as Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I've got to say that. Like, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is better than Chris Pine. It's better than the Gal Gadot. It's better than, like, as a performance. But all in all, the dish served as a whole, I think Wonder Woman they can be a good people, Kal-El. And it's better than Superman 1 only because, again, Superman 1 is so hurt by the time travel bit and the fact it doesn't have modern CGI. If it did, it could compete, but you're doing a Superman movie, you have to believe what Superman is doing. And even in Superman 2, when he's fighting Zod, it's not like a proper Man of Steel kind of level fight that you were expecting. So altogether, this is my list. So what are my top 10 movies of DC of all time? Number 1, V for Vendetta. Number 2, Batman Begins. Number 3, The Joker. Number 4, The Dark Knight. Number 5, wow, I didn't know Wonder Woman was so high. Wow. The Dark Knight, number 5. Wonder Woman, no, Wonder Woman, number 5. Batman Returns, number 2. Number 6. Superman 2, number 7. Watchmen, number 8. Shazam, look at Shazam. That's really high for Shazam. I didn't know I liked it that much over all of these DC movies. Number 9. Justice League trailer is here. Justice League trailer is here. Number 9, Shazam. Number 8 and number 10, Superman. Justice League trailer is fucking here. Okay, we're going to end broadcast and we're going to react to Justice League trailer right now. Give me 5 minutes. All right, thanks. Please like, subscribe, and I've got to check if this is real.